Welcome to the Midwest Game Nerds Podcast. I'm your host, John, and here with me today is Brian.
Hey.
And Alex.
Hello.
Today we're going to talk about ARMS and Arizona Sunshine, but before we get to all that, I want you to all follow us on social media to see all the places you can listen to watch our show. Check out MidwestGameNerds.com/links. As always, we would appreciate your feedback at MidwestGameNerds@gmail.com, and don't forget to follow us on Twitch, as well as rate and review us on your favorite podcatcher such as iTunes, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn Radio, and Google Play Podcasts. That's our new short intro.
There we go.
I said some of it wrong, but I got most
That's
of it right.
fine. We'll get it.
But anyways, yeah. So ARMS, Arizona Sunshine. What else have you guys been playing? Anything?
A little bit of a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you're fully into PlayerUnknown's Battleground. I can barely say that's such a long name, and even shortening it I can't do it.
PUBG, Plunkbat.
PUBG.
Yeah, I wish I could be playing it more, but I've been having some computer
Yeah, you've been
troubles.
playing Supercomputer Troubleshooter.
Yeah, that's not a fun game. I don't recommend it to anybody, especially when it's a brand new computer that costs way too much.
All the more reason to wait for it to come out on Xbox.
You're on difficult mode.
Yes.
Hard
And
difficulty.
There's no fucking guide out there anywhere.
He's playing on Nightmare.
Yeah.
Have you gotten to play some PUBG since the patch?
It runs significantly smoother, even
that's good.
when it was already running smooth.
Yes, it begins.
Uh-oh. Yeah, let me go get you some Kleenex.
Excuse me.
But yeah, so it runs significantly smoother.
It just feels more responsive is the thing. Like,
what was the update exactly? I don't even know.
They did all kinds of stuff.
I know they added climbing, right?
They added, no, not yet.
Oh, no, that's on
a
its way.
future thing. Yeah.
Okay.
I cannot wait for that. You'll be able to jump through windows too.
That's sweet.
Friday the 13th style.
Right.
Minus Jason. But they did some balancing tweaks to like the drops for certain weapons and stuff. They changed the behavior of a couple of the guns.
So
they added a couple guns.
One of the more interesting things is that for the first few months of play of this game, people would be able to tell if a car had been used depending on what direction it was pointed in, because all cars spawned in the world pointing east.
I used that to my advantage
So if a car was not pointed east, you knew that somebody had been in that car and they may be in that
nearby,
area.
Yeah.
If it was pointed east, you know it's probably not likely that somebody used it, but if they parked it the right way.
So now they've randomized
They've randomized
spawn.
it now, so that element of strategy has
completely
been
gone.
Yeah, which is great. Now it's like you have no idea.
No clue.
Yeah. But
yeah, there's a wide variety of strategies we've been trying out too. Like I play mostly duos, and we started spreading out a little more.
Yeah.
So that way, like we're in separate buildings and can watch people enter each other's buildings, you know?
Yeah.
And that actually helps a lot, because sticking together usually just means you're both going to get murdered right away.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I've done that to people. I'm
Yeah.
actually getting pretty good at that.
That's good.
And I played one solo match in the brief window that my computer was back up and running last night, and it was pretty awesome. I actually had a high-speed chase, which I've never done that before. I was chasing somebody that was on a motorcycle, but I was in a buggy. And I thought I lost them, and then I heard them coming up over the hill, and I sped up, and I fucking hit them and, like, ground them to a stop, and they got out, and I got out, and we had a little gun battle in that one. It was very exhilarating.
Well done.
Yeah, I bought some other Steam sale games that I've played a little bit of.
I
Mostly
completely
just to
forgot
see what they're
about the
like.
Steam
It's
sale,
still going till
which is
July 4th.
probably a good thing.
Yeah.
I picked up Shadow of Mordor finally because it's
Nice.
$4.
Yeah. Pretty cheap.
It looks like it'd be fun, but I haven't really gotten into it much. I just played the tutorial.
Yeah. I've done that about 4 times now.
Yeah, and then my computer crashed, so that kind of put a damper on things.
Yeah.
And I picked up Headlander. I don't know if you know what that is.
Yeah, it's an
from
Adult
Double
Swim
Fine.
game. Adult Swim Double Fine. It's Metroid style.
It's it's pretty silly and it's cool. Like the
You're-
whole head mechanic is awesome.
Yeah.
You just fly around as a head with a little jetpack, and you land on other bodies that you knock the heads off of.
Oh, yeah.
It's essentially Super Mario Odyssey, but instead of throwing the cap, you put your head on other things.
Right.
Yeah, and it has a pretty lewd sense of humor, and it has a cool like 70s psychedelic kind of, or 60s
I think I remember
probably,
seeing the
psychedelic
previews for
art
that.
style.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a Adult Swim Humble Bundle that I meant to pick up like a couple weeks ago that had that in it, and that was really the only thing I wanted out of it, but I forgot to pick
I
it
don't
up.
remember how much it cost me, but not that much.
It's probably like $7, I think, or something like that.
I mean, it was under 10 for sure.
Yeah.
Elite Dangerous, I tried. I got frustrated trying to spend 10 minutes to land, which is as much time as they let you
Sounds
have
about
before they
right.
charge you a fine.
Wait, what?
Elite Dangerous is like one of those spaceship,
Space sim.
trade fight.
Yeah, it's like Eve.
Whatever.
It's Eve,
sort
but
of.
a little less spreadsheet, a little more.
It's Eve and No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
Mixed.
A little
mixed
more
up.
gameplay, I would say.
They
I
just
don't know.
released it on PSN. It's
Yeah,
on-
they did.
It's on PlayStation.
It's been
Yeah.
on Xbox
No.
for a while too.
No VR support for
that's-
PlayStation, sadly.
Give
Yeah.
me like
They have VR support in it.
Yeah,
on
for
PC,
Oculus
and that would be
and-
awesome.
I played No Man's Sky using the VR theater mode.
Yeah.
If they would just make No Man's Sky VR, it would be such a great experience. That is the perfect game for VR.
It could still be coming. You never know. I mean,
They really should.
They got a
should,
small team, so
They should really consider it.
I would hope that Sony's pushing them to do something like that, but maybe not.
There's
Maybe-
a lot going on with No Man's Sky right now.
Yeah, they have an ARG going.
Yeah, some crazy ARG that I haven't quite followed, but there's something like 16 cassette tapes have been delivered to specific streamers and like higher ups in the gameplay community of No Man's Sky.
Yeah, that sounds cool. I need to look into it more.
Yeah, I don't really know what's going on, but they're expecting big changes coming to the game soon.
That's
so
awesome.
There's a lot. I mean, there's the reviews now of No Man's Sky on Steam are in the positive.
That's good.
So there's been a large shift in the community.
Good.
Which I've been meaning to play it again just because I did enjoy it. I didn't,
Yeah.
I mean, I understood where everybody hated it, but I want to start playing it.
Yeah,
again.
I might check it out again on PC.
I still haven't hopped back in, even since they started patching things. But I know it's got a PS4 Pro patch now, and I've got a pretty new TV, so I might throw it in
Yeah.
and see. Especially since we're kind of in that summer gaming drought. That's
Right. Yeah, we're going to have to come up with some content for the next couple
we'll figure it
episodes.
out. We'll be all right.
Trying to think if there was
At least till
anything
August.
else.
You get anything on the Sony or Xbox sales?
Not yet. I probably should since those consoles actually work. Oh, I played some Star Wars Battlefront again.
Yeah.
Because the Ultimate Edition was on
Super
sale
cheap.
for like $10, and it looks amazing on PC with the high refresh rate and all that.
Yeah.
It's
Nice.
just it's phenomenal. But yeah, I gotta say, once you go past the 60 frames per second mark on like a high refresh rate monitor, it's kind of hard to go back.
Yeah, no. And a lot of people are like, oh, you can't even see that. But it's like, no, the eye
it just
can
feels so responsive.
the
to
eye
it.
can see up to 90 frames a second. And the fact that we haven't had consoles or computers that do that before, you definitely notice a change when you start using like 140, like a G-Sync, a G-Sync situation, and it's phenomenal. Like games that use G-Sync just run like butter, and it's
Yeah.
great. But anything else?
That's about it. Unless you want to count Destiny, I've probably played that at some
I
point.
might talk about that a little bit, but
Yeah, I'll let you guys talk about it because I know you guys.
because
have
I've
actually
given
played
it
a
kind
lot.
of short shrift the
I've-
past couple weeks.
I've
Yeah.
been too busy playing PC Troubleshooter.
By past couple weeks, I mean like few years as
Right.
we've been doing this podcast. Yeah. So John and I played a game. It's called Super Baby Holder, and we have a brand new nephew in the
Yep.
family. And congratulations to our brother and sister-in-law. 'Cause
Yep.
it's awesome.
More augmented
So awesome.
reality.
One more
Yeah.
nerd to add to
Yes.
the group.
Yeah. He's
He's
certainly
gonna-
going to be a nerd.
He's going to be super
The
nerdy.
cards are stacked against him in that manner. So.
It's going to be awesome.
But other than that, I've played a few things. I tried out the Marvel vs. Capcom story demo.
Yeah.
That's garbage. Like
Really?
it's a piece of trash. Because like all it is basically here's a cutscene with two characters from the game.
Right.
Then you play as those two characters and destroy like drones from Ultron Sigma or whatever,
Okay.
whatever. And you do that like 5 times, playing as a different pair of characters each time. And then finally at the end of the demo, you get to fight against Ultron Sigma. And it's just the least compelling. I couldn't care less about what's being said in these cutscenes. You never get to fight any of the other characters except for Ultron Sigma. So from what I've heard, it's kind of an old build of the game, which I didn't really have any trouble with how it performed. But if that's how they're going to structure their story, I kind of don't even care to pick it up.
Right.
Because at this point, I've seen all the characters that are coming for it. I don't really care about any of them that much other than like Mega Man X. So, yeah. I don't know how... I'll have to ask Willie what he thinks about it, because I don't know if he came away as disappointed as I did, but it's not great. Friday the 13th, there was a content drop a week or two ago. They gave everybody 13,000 customization points if you logged in on their double XP weekend, which is great. You can get a bunch of perks and
I wish I
Jason
would
kills
have
if you
remembered
want.
that.
I forgot about that.
I meant to text you guys. I must have forgot to do it.
No, it's cool. I'm done playing that game anyways.
I saw you playing it at some point this week, and I was shocked.
I wasn't playing it this week.
Yeah, I don't think John
what
was playing
my
it this week.
PlayStation app told me.
I was invited to play it by 2 people, but I chose to play Destiny instead.
I hopped on with Willie last night, and Willie's like, Alex, I think we're the only people that like this game anymore. And I was like, yeah, I think everybody else is kind of soured on it, but I'm ready to play that game.
I'm really
at a
soured
moment's
on
notice.
it when Willie is playing Jason.
Yeah, it's not
Which
fair.
seems to happen all the time, and I never get to be Jason.
Well, that was the great
anymore.
thing, is that I hadn't played Jason in like 3 or 4 weeks, and I finally played Jason like almost 3 times in a row last night,
Yeah.
and I managed to kill everybody, which felt great. But Willie didn't get to play as Jason once,
That's awesome.
which was kind of funny. But it meant I had a good chance to get away. But no, that game continues to be awesome. I got a few great stories. I was playing with CJ from the Player One podcast, which is a much more popular podcast than ours. But we were playing, and we had a group of people that managed to call the cops, and we had 6 people. Like, basically what happened, it was in Higgins Haven, the long street at the top. The cops are going to appear on one of the
Either
2
side,
ends.
yeah.
So I went to the left, and then the other 5 people were at the right. And basically, we were ticking down the seconds to see what was happening. Everybody, like, we were all talking on the walkie-talkies, like, "Oh, I've got these stun items. I had a flare gun and some firecrackers." It was like,
How many pocket knives did you have?
I don't think I had any pocket knives at
Bullshit.
that point. I
You always
can't
have
remember.
pocket
I might have
knives.
had one. But basically, so the cops actually ended up showing up at the end with all the 5 people. And I was like, all right, guys, I'm going to try and make it over there. And they're like, all right, we're going to wait for you because we have enough shit to take Jason down if we really want to. And I ended up making it about halfway there when Jason appeared. And I managed to flare gun him, and then he ran up to me as like I told the group, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna make it. So then they started running towards me, and then we had people there that could like knock him down. So basically, I think Jason grabbed me, and then somebody else managed to knock him so I could get away. And then we threw down firecrackers, and then we all just ran for the exit. And then everybody threw down all of their firecrackers at the exit. There were like 10 firecrackers going off at the same time. It was the only time that we've had 6 people simultaneously exit through the cops.
That's crazy.
And it was great. There was one dude who was like at the end of the other end of the map, just kind of like dicking around with the boat or something. And we were like, we managed to get out.
See ya.
I don't think he made that, but no, that was a good game. And I think that for the rest of the patch, counselors all got 2 outfits. Chad's got a sweet all white outfit. It's great. And
good for camouflage in those dark woods.
yeah, it really makes you hard to see. And then they put out a skin for the Friday the 13th Part 3 Jason that is actually the classic NES Jason.
Yep.
He's all purple with a blue mask, which is exactly how he looked in that game. And he
And the 8-bit
The music.
yeah,
It's
so there's a
fantastic.
music track by Mitch Murder. Instead of the normal music when Jason comes in, you get this awesome 8-bit track that sadly Jason doesn't get to hear while he's murdering people.
Yeah, it's
because it should just be
fantastic.
playing the whole time. But I finally got to play as him last night. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, no, that game continues to be a lot of fun to me. I have a great time.
Yeah,
with
I
it.
mean-
and I get it. It's super frustrating if you die first.
Here's the thing. That's not what's frustrating to me. What was frustrating to me is I was playing Jason. I had just come from playing Destiny.
Oh yeah.
So Jason's knife throwing ability is assigned to
It's nowhere
L1.
near
L1.
Hunter's knife throwing ability.
Hear me out. When you hold down L1, it brings up a crosshair to aim.
Yep.
So it's like you're using iron sights.
Yeah.
So every time I went to throw a fucking knife to slow someone down, I would hit L2 to bring up my iron sights, and he would go through the grab animation.
Yeah.
And there's no stop to the animation. You have to wait for him to complete the action before you can do anything else. So there's no way I could hit that and then be like, oh shit, and then hold down L1 to swap back. I had to wait for him to finish swinging, and then by the time he's done, the person's gone.
Yeah.
So that happened to me because I had literally just, like, we were playing Destiny, and then everybody was like, okay, Friday the 13th. So then I literally stopped the middle of the strike I was in to go play Friday the 13th. And I kept hitting the stupid button wrong, and it was driving me insane. And it got to the point where, like, I was in the cemetery with Gojo as
Chad.
No, he wasn't Chad. He was what's his name? Tommy.
Oh, Tommy Jarvis.
Tommy
American
Jarvis.
Hero.
He was playing Tommy Jarvis, and I think Willie and somebody else was there. Maybe Nick. No, I had already. Did I kill? No, Nick got away.
You didn't kill anybody, I don't think.
I didn't kill anyone that round. I killed Tommy Jarvis finally, but then everyone else escaped. But the thing is, I'm sitting there playing, and I kept doing that same thing over and over again.
I remember.
And I hear Nick go, John can't possibly be this bad at this game. And, like, I had my mic muted because the dogs wouldn't shut up. I didn't want people to know where I was because I was playing Jason. And I'm just like, that, like, Nick, like, I don't fault you for this, man, but you completely took all of the wind out of my sails, and I never want to play that game again.
That's the thing, is that having a bad run as Jason just makes you feel like an utter failure. Because before, like,
because you
it was brutal.
are.
It was brutal.
Like, the 3-week break that I'd taken from playing Jason, where I was just playing Chad the whole time, the last game that I had was just a complete, like, I maybe killed one person and I felt like shit afterwards. And so I was like, I don't care if I never play Jason again. I just want to be Chad.
But it's also like, it also felt like, I mean, it literally felt like everybody was so good at the game that I was just being taunted the entire time. And, like, I'm not normally a salty game player.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be honest. I mean, I've been playing Trials of Osiris, and, like, I haven't been salty at all during any of that. And, like, that's surprising.
Yeah.
But
because it's really difficult.
it is super difficult. And you should be salty during it, essentially. But, like, for some reason, it, like, I don't know if it was just, like, the night, like, I was tired or something. Like, it really got to me, and I was like, you know what? Like, I'm done playing this game. I'm never touching it again. And I put it down, and that sucks because, like, it's a fun game to play with other people, especially people you know. But yeah, it was just, I don't know.
And here's the thing, that was like your second time playing it too, though. You know?
You can't just be instantly good. Those people play like day in and day out.
I remember the day I popped in on it that you're talking about is because there was a Destiny update and we couldn't play Destiny until like 9 p.m.
Oh,
the servers were shut down. So Gladish, Corey, and I jumped into Friday the 13th with a bunch of randos. Some rando is like all this, like, I don't know what it was. It was like a bunch of, like, he was watching YouTube videos or something, and it was all like this, Spanish music or something. Like, it was super loud, and I'm like, wow, like, this is dumb. I'm muting that guy or whatever.
Yeah.
Or I was like, I'm going back to party chat is what I said out loud. And the guy's like, sorry, man. Like, you could have just been nice about it and told me to turn it off. And I'm like, how about
nice.
I just...
Why are you doing it in the first place?
Yeah, and then Gladys is like, you can just go and mute him. So I just went and muted him, and, like, that was it. And then this just ingrained in me. I'm never playing this game again. As I'm playing with them, some dude... I got the gas can. I found the battery, but I can only carry one at a time.
Yeah.
And so I'm running out with the gas can to the car, and I see this other guy. I'm like, yo, dude, like, the battery's in this building over here if you want to go and grab it. And Gladish was playing as Jason, and I didn't know this because I was back in the game chat.
Yeah.
I'm going to fill the tank, and this guy just hits me with a baseball bat. And I'm like,
what?
What is going on here? So I go to fill the tank again, and he hits me again with the baseball bat. He hit me to the point where I was covered in blood, and I'm like, okay, you know what? If this is how it's going to be, like, whatever. So I just put the gas can down and started running back for the battery. Gladys showed up as Jason and killed me instantly. That guy just stood there and watched. And I'm like, okay, so that's how this is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is that they're starting to crack down. They actually instituted, like, a policy. They're like, here's the things that we are willing to ban people for. If you can send us a video or a screenshot of something, then we will ban people. Like,
Yeah.
as long as you can prove to us that this was going on. So actually, Willie and I had a game last night. I was playing as Jason, and I had killed 5 of 7 people or something like that.
Yeah.
4 of 6. There were 2 people left. There was one dude in Packanack. Like, when I would use my sense, Packanack would glow red.
Right.
And so I was searching through it. I destroyed all the closets that were in there. I basically did everything
He
that I
was
could
in a
do.
bed, right?
Yeah. And then Willie, like this, I mean, this is technically kind of cheating, but not really. It was just Willie being like, you need to stop doing this because it's not going to happen. He texted me, it was like, somebody's on the top of Packanack. Like, because you can use an exploit to get to the top of Packanack. And just stand on
run out the
top
clock.
because Jason can't get there.
Right.
So I was like, okay, that's fine, whatever. And that's all Willie told me. And I was like, thank you for doing that. Because then I went and found the other person, immediately killed him. And then the match was basically over after that. And then Willie was like, yeah, so I basically sent a message to the guy. I was like, get off of Packanack or I'm going to report you. And then the guy just said, why? And then Willie was like, cool, enjoy your ban. So then Willie had a screenshot of the guy. He took a video of the guy, and I told him to take a screenshot of his conversation to show that the guy was being a jackass.
Right.
And then we just emailed it off to them, and that guy's probably going to get banned. They've already banned like 300 people from playing the game.
That's awesome.
So
they're
trying to
they're
make it better.
actively making it a better.
Yeah,
community.
they're actively trying to make it better. People who helped Jason, which Willie kind of did there, so I guess they could have banned me.
He did, but I mean, he did it to the what else are you going to do? How else are you going to know that guy's even up there? Like,
Exactly.
And that just kind of ruins the game for you.
Yeah, so I wasn't.
I don't consider that cheating.
I
by
wouldn't
any
think so
means.
either, but it sounds like they're trying to put in the work there to like build a good community.
Good on them.
I don't know. I can't remember exactly if like team kill, like they've really, what they've done with team killing is that if you kill one of your teammates, you get 1 experience.
Okay.
Like, you get basically nothing for being in the match if you kill somebody. So they're kind of trying to cut down on that, but
It should
obviously
take
it's not,
away
it's not
experience
gonna,
points.
yeah.
I just don't understand why friendly fire is even an option.
Well, the first thing that you said when we were playing the first time, you were like, they should make a mode where you can hurt each other, which if that was an option you could turn on and off. Totally. I'd be totally down for them to do that.
Yeah, like a
but-
last man standing kind of situation where you have to screw everybody else over. But normally speaking, it doesn't fit in with the gameplay model. So I don't understand why it's even there.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
being
it doesn't.
able to
It doesn't.
damage each other.
The only thing that kind of benefits you with killing somebody is if you're killing somebody to get their spot in a car, and that's about it. Like that's the only reason you would want to kill somebody. So I really don't know. But I think things are going to get better. I think they're going to keep trying to ban people who are being assholes and.
Yeah, I'm like completely turned off from playing the game now, which kind of sucks because again I liked playing it, but I don't really want to play it anymore. I'm kind of over it.
Basically, I see Willie and I playing this game for the coming months because we just have such a good time playing it. Like I'll hop on at like 10 o'clock at night.
This
and
is
Willie's
literally
on.
this is like an actual version of your Goodwill Hunting game.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
this
No,
is like
absolutely.
ultimately what this is like
Yeah.
somebody took your idea of Goodwill Hunting and applied it to Friday the 13th,
Yeah.
and now it's a game.
You get-
And then they got this other game coming out like Dead Till Daylight or
Dead by
something.
Daylight.
Dead by Daylight.
It's
like,
been out on PC for a year,
which
It
is
just came out on
basically a
consoles.
Friday the 13th like ripoff, I guess. I
It
don't
was
know,
it was
like-
one of the first like announced asymmetric gameplay type experiences.
Yeah, but
or
it only
multiplayer.
it's 4v1 instead of like 7v1.
Yeah, which I'm interested to see what the balance is like. Maybe the monster or whatever is really slow or something, but
Yeah.
I don't know. But regardless, hopefully you'll jump back in. Willie and I are hoping that the next update is like here's a Jason X map and Jason X.
Yeah.
And then maybe that will renew our friend group's interest in it and have people come back for a little bit and we can get some games going. But
yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'll play it again at some point, but it was just super frustrating to me to be dealing with everything.
I get it. Like the game is not perfect from a lot of standpoints, including the way that people treat each other
Well,
and
it was
some
funny
of the bugs.
because like
and-
we were playing that. I was playing that round with Corey and Gladish, and like Destiny popped back up so we could go back and play it, and I was complaining to them about the experience of basically being helped, like Jason being helped by this other survivor or whatever. And Gladish is like, yeah, sorry, dude, I was Jason. I didn't realize that guy was even helping me. I was like, dude, he was beating the shit out of me
Yeah.
with a baseball bat so that you would take him instead of, or you would take me instead of him. But then he just kind of stood there, like, and I was like, all right, like, I don't know what's going on here, but this is not how I want to play this game.
There's a lot of weirdness in there. Like Willie and I encountered a few things last night with people basically like, I think somebody was talking with Jason to essentially make it so that they could both get as much experience as possible because there were 3 people left in this game. Jason was just kind of putzing around. This dude called in Tommy Jarvis, which then summoned me, and Jason immediately appeared in the graveyard while the Tommy Jarvis cinematic was playing so that he could basically kill me immediately.
That's kind of messed up.
So, that kind of stuff is happening. But
should probably implement what Destiny does, actually. In certain modes, you can't be in a party.
that would be great, yeah. That would be pretty good.
I feel like you shouldn't be able to be in a party when you play this game.
That's fair. I mean,
That would solve the problem of people talking to each other unless they're using fucking Skype or phone or something.
Yeah, which if you're putting in that effort, then whatever. People are always going to be shitty. But,
Yeah.
Fortunately, I think we have enough people who own the game that we can make a private match happen when we want to.
But that's the thing, even the private match isn't fun for me, so.
See, I will only play if it's a good private match. I have no interest in playing with random people.
That's fair. I don't begrudge it.
Because, I mean, for me, that whole experience of that game is the stories that come from it.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not going to, start talking to a stranger about that one time that
but
we
that's the
killed
thing
Jason
is that
together.
there are several people on my friends list that are on there because they were basically just like, oh man, you guys actually treat this game with respect. I want to be friends with you
Yeah,
so that
that's
we can
cool,
play
for sure.
And that's happened like 4 or 5 times now. So it's, I mean,
You should
the
just
fact
use
that-
it as a marketing ploy for the podcast.
Well, yeah, I mean, if somebody emailed us, for the podcast and said, hey, I want to play or whatever, that'd be cool.
So
sure.
if Joel, I haven't played with Joel yet. If Joel wants to hop, if we want to set
he
up,
was on one of the times we were playing, and I messaged him to be like, hey, dude, just so you know, we're gonna be playing F13 in a couple minutes or whatever, and he hadn't responded. I'm assuming just because he was busy doing something else or whatever he was playing, but. Yeah, I'd like to. I'll play with Joel for sure.
I don't know if Alan picked it up or not, but we could get a game with Joel and Alan. That's 5 of 8 right here.
Right.
And then
he did pick it up, I think. I think I saw
Did
him
he?
playing it.
Okay. So, I mean, we can, if people want to do that, that can be our first, Midwest Game Nerds game night. And
Play
I'll
it.
stream it and we can
Game
put
Nerds
it in
play
the YouTube.
along.
Yeah. I think it'd be a lot of fun. So, if people are interested in that, please let me know.
Also,
And
we're having open enrollment for the Midwest Game Nerds Destiny 2 raid
Which
group.
I think should have a different name.
Clan. Yeah.
I still like the huge dudes of podcasting.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
HDOP is pretty good. little O.
OP is
Big-
a good thing to have in your name.
Yeah, absolutely.
HDO.
We're
OP.
so overpowered
But yeah,
because we're huge dudes.
after
We're huge dudes.
13 minutes of Friday the 13th,
Yeah.
which is actually more like 20 probably.
Anyways, what else? This is good. I mean, our review section is going to be kind of short, so
yeah,
it's okay.
so we can take up a little more time here.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna.
this is our
take my
holiday-
headset off.
This is
and
our
take a
July
nap or something.
4th of July episode.
4th of July spectacular.
I'm gonna look up my computer issues.
fireworks and
while
explosions.
you guys talk about that.
While we were
Want to use
in
my
a,
laptop?
Yeah, sure.
while we were in a chat for Friday the 13th, we got to talking about Ski Free on Windows and
Yeah.
also Chips Challenge.
So I remember.
So you guys all went back and played those.
I was bored at work one day and I found a web CC for Chips Challenge and I downloaded it for $3 and it's fantastic.
I don't remember Chips Challenge. I definitely remember Ski Free.
It's like a little it's basically a top-down puzzle thing where there's mechanics of you can't walk through water unless you have the flippers, you can't walk through fire unless you have the orange shoes. There's ice,
Naturally.
there's ice, but you can you can get skates so that you can normally navigate ice. And you go and collect chips to get through the gates that
Right.
lets you go
Are
through
these poker
the
chips
exit.
or
Computer chips.
They're potato chips.
computer chips?
Computer
Okay.
chips.
Potato chips is the
Wavy
next
Lays.
guess.
It's a lot of fun. I don't necessarily recommend WebCC on iOS because it's
Hope
only
the cheddar and sour
32-bit.
cream ones.
It's only 32-bit, so when the new iOS comes out, it's probably not going to work anymore. But
It's the loaded potato ruffles.
I've never had those. Those sound pretty
They're
good.
pretty.
and then
they're pretty
finally,
good.
I've been playing Destiny.
Yes, you have.
Um,
Welcome back.
Yeah, I'm light level 367 or something at this point in time. Just about to get.
I just got my first 400 piece yesterday, so I'm
Nice.
pretty excited about that.
I'm just about to get my Iron Gallarhorn.
Good for you.
That should be exciting for you.
Yes.
Then it'll make the game totally
Now I
playable
just
again.
need Black Thread or whatever, even though it's
Black
still not as good as
Black Spindle.
Black Spindle. Yeah,
It's really hard to get.
that's what I hear.
Can be
But,
with the wrong group. Or even the right group.
Here's the thing that I'm learning in these couple of weeks of playing Destiny 1 again is that what I really, and I said this a little bit on the last couple episodes, but I think I've really nailed down what I want out of Destiny 2. And that's that I don't want to care about what gear I have. I want to care about the story.
I think that's where they're headed with Destiny 2.
And
because
that's kind
they
of,
announced
yeah.
there was clarification this week that Luke Smith said that the exotic weapons, or actually like all of the weapons, are not going to have random rolls anymore.
Yeah.
Like the weapons have the roll that they have, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like that there is like everyone can have the same shit. You're not going to have to rely on
I
God
don't want
rolls.
to have the same shit.
Does too fucking bad, dude. You're stuck with the same gun. You have the same Hawk Moon as everybody
There's
else.
still
man.
somebody who's going to get a jelly horn out of an engram before
Well,
you
no,
ever get
the
one.
exotics
So,
are
like,
exactly the same for everyone.
Yeah, but now all of
No,
the
they're
guns
not.
are going to
Yeah,
be
they are.
exactly the same.
Then what's
Well,
the point
not
of
the armor.
What's the point
The
of
weapons
using,
are exactly
What's the
the
point of
same.
using glass needles to re-roll things?
Yeah, like they're essentially
That's
you're-
for armor.
You're
Yeah,
not going to
that's not
have to
exactly the same.
re-roll anything. You can't re-roll anything. They're getting rid of the randomized weapons. Like what weapon? Even like the rare weapons that you pick up are going to have they come with the roll that they come with, and that's it.
I
And
think it's kind of exciting because it's like
it evens the playing field. Essentially, is
well,
what they're doing.
Plus, when you get the same weapon 10 times in a row, it makes it worthwhile because then you might actually get one that's better than the last one you had.
Or you can just get one, like if you get it 10 times in a row, then you get to junk it 9 times and use those materials on something else. Like to me, it largely didn't matter. Like I'm not going to go after a piece of armor that's got more discipline if it's the same piece of armor that I already have, because who the fuck gives a shit about that stuff anyways?
right.
Corey.
I literally do not, I could not care less
I do,
about
actually.
discipline, intellect, and strength. They're meaningless to me.
Yes, because you are a PvE player. You're not a PvP player. Like,
Exactly.
and that's
So
and
they
that's the
are.
thing.
And they should
like,
just get rid of PvP because it's dumb.
that's not.
But
true.
anyway, no, I'm just kidding.
That's one of the best parts about the game is the fact that it caters to both well.
Yeah, and that I mean that's fine. I think I was being facetious.
No, I know.
because I don't care about PvP very much.
I
But
didn't.
I know you did.
I hated it, and I'm totally into it now.
I put in my time when
So
I got
late.
when I
well, and that we may attribute that to the fact that like I've done everything else in the game at this point, minus like a full raid run of Wrath of the Machine.
Yeah.
But I think it helps playing with people that actually care to play PvP because
Yeah.
it pushes you to do better. Like Corey and I spent an hour or two yesterday just running through the Trials map, and he was like teaching me proper Titan skating techniques and shit like that. Like, and that was fun, like to learn how to do those things and like
and
properly implement them in situations.
that
Like,
would be where I kind of care about PvP, but it like the I put in my time when I got Crucible rank 3 and 150 marks just to get my Satyrian Rapier, which I got to use for a week before I quit and then never used again.
right.
So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I just don't really care about PvP. But basically, like, I don't want to be sitting here wondering, like, what is the shit that I need to be doing to get
Yeah.
enough light to go and do a raid? I want to be like, hey, there's these awesome missions and quests that I have. Let me care about them and go and do these things, and hopefully along the way, like, I want them to find that right balance where there's
that was-
not this huge gap between the end of the story content for that pack and the raid. Like, I want them to figure out a compelling way to connect those.
And I think they're doing that with D2.
I hope so.
From the explanations of like what we're getting out of the game in terms of like expansions on story and like different events we can do, different end game stuff that isn't PvP based. Like,
yeah.
I feel like we are going to get a definite push for more story, which is like, that's awesome. The downfall of that is they're taking away the Grim cards, Grimoire cards. So like a ton of the lore content people on the internet are super up in arms about that because they'll have nothing to reference when they talk about lore anymore, which is kind of a bummer. So, and this is one of those things where like they may be removing the Grimoire card thing, but hopefully there will be some other way to document the story that you do uncover as you uncover it.
Yeah.
It just seems like a no-brainer to have like I mean, we've talked about this so many times at this point, but why don't they just have like a Mass Effect style codex built
Yeah.
into the game?
And maybe they will. I don't know. They are from what I've been reading, they're taking a ton of hints from the Diablo 3 team in terms of like how to progress with this game moving forward.
Yeah.
I was reading the Forbes article by Paul Tassi about how he hopes that one of the things they take from Diablo 3 is the loadout system for PvP and PvE.
Yeah.
Because
people have wanted that forever.
Paul Tassi's like, yeah, in my Diablo 3 game, I have 3 barbarians with 3 different setups that I leveled to level 70 because it's easier to do that than to go back through with 1 barbarian and like swap out respec all your gear, all your sockets and gems, and then respec all of your abilities. Like, it was easier to actually level 2 additional characters to 70, which, are you joking me? That takes so fucking long. And then swap them on the fly because they're all at the same point in the game where like I think there's like randomized dungeons and stuff like that at that point.
Yeah.
So it's they're taking a lot of hints from Diablo 3. I'm assuming they're taking a ton of hints from the World of Warcraft people because that's just what it sounds like in terms of the world, like being in part of the, when you're in the European Dead Zone, which is all they've really described in terms of like a large play area as the European Dead Zone so far.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what the other planets are going to have for us, which I'm still excited. But I also hope eventually down the line they'll let us go back to Venus and go back to Mars and go to the moon still and like visit. I'm hoping they take this new engine they have and reincorporate all of the old stuff into it down the line. Like, even if that's part of the expansion pass, that they bring all the D1 content into the new engine and expand on that for us so we can play one gigantic fucking cohesive beautiful game, I would be all about that. I would give up the cross-play ability just to have all of that. So,
yeah, I don't know if we're getting that either.
We're
I don't
not
think
going
we're getting any of that stuff.
We're not going to get cross-play ability.
Well, no, but I mean, like,
And-
even the idea, like, I know that they said that they're going to rebuild some of the areas that we've been in the D2 engine and setup from D1,
Right.
but like, I don't think we're ever going to get to a point where and really what it should have been is that this is Destiny and you open up the original thing and you have all of whatever comes out in perpetuity in one client.
Right.
But characters don't carry over, so who cares? And like, I don't know. But anyway, that's enough about the game that we've referenced on 60 of 64 episodes.
Is
that a real statistic?
Destiny has changed video games.
It's an
in a way.
assumed statistic.
I don't know. It's a great game.
It's the next evolution of like WoW, essentially, is that this is what people are headed towards.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway.
Yeah,
With-
but if this were like that, we would be able to go back to all the old zones.
It's true. It's true.
Which hopefully they get there. Maybe they'll incorporate that. Is all I'm saying. Maybe.
Maybe.
I'm hoping they do because I mean it would be fun to go back and play through some of those stories and missions and things because it's still fun. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, what else? Anything else? Have you played anything else?
No, I mean that's all that I have really been through.
I've only played Destiny, so
Yeah.
and Arizona Sunshine. But you had some news things you picked out.
Yeah, so lots of big sales going on right now between PSN, Xbox Live, Steam. Best Buy's got a sale going. Figured I'd just pick out a few of the things. Brian already talked about Shadow of Mordor on Steam, but it's also $4 with PlayStation Plus on PSN. God of War 3 Remastered is $4. Ratchet and Clank is $8, and if you guys did not play that, you should pick it up, especially since you have a Pro. That game runs even better and looks even better somehow with a Pro. So definitely do that. There's a bunch of other things. Mad Max is only $8 on PSN.
That's worth $8.
Yeah,
I think it might be less on Steam.
It's worth at least $20 in my opinion.
Yeah. In terms of the Xbox stuff, there are a few things that I wanted to pick up, but sadly they're locked behind gold, and I'm waiting on a deal to do that. I wanted to pick up Gears of War 4.
There was a
which
gold
is like
deal last week.
$30.
It was like $48 for a year of gold.
I must have missed out on it, but
Watch the Kinja deals or whatever on
Okay.
Kotaku.
I'll keep an eye on it.
They've been on top of that shit lately.
Yeah, a lot of Halo 5 is on sale for like $20. You can get
It's worth $5.
you can get Recore for $20.
If you like PvP,
Recore is a good
fun.
$20 for Recore is a pretty good price. That's about what you're getting for that game. So I wouldn't begrudge that price. But then there's a crap load of backwards compatibility 360 titles, all kinds of like Alan Wake and Assassin's Creed and
I have a free
Borderlands, and
copy
they're
of
all-
Alan Wake. I haven't even cashed in yet.
yeah. So those are all pretty cheap and worth checking out. And then Steam, like there's even more
I
stuff.
thought
that's
Alan
on
Wake
sale.
was pulled from sale. Did they fix that?
Alan Wake's American Nightmare is the one that I see that's on sale. So maybe that
Yeah.
one's still not back up yet. They haven't relicensed the Bowie song or whatever that was in it, but yeah, and the Steam stuff looks ridiculous. There's all kinds of good deals out. So yeah, we're in a bit of a AAA drought at the moment, but there's plenty of stuff to go check out and buy if you're looking for something
And
to
the
play.
Splatoon's
Summer
the next
sales-
thing I'm getting.
Splatoon's out later this month.
Summer sale's done on the 5th.
The Steam summer sale's done on the 5th. I'm pretty certain that the Xbox and PlayStation sales are continuing for another week after that.
Yeah, I think because they started later.
Maybe I'll
too.
jump on the summer sale and find some stuff I can stock my library with
Yeah,
that I'm never
so-
going to play.
on
that's-
your computer that you consider getting rid of.
on a daily basis.
I don't think
I
you
don't
should get
use
rid of
it.
it because we're gonna play Civ 6
Well, no,
again.
eventually I'm going to use I'm going to actually get a recording studio set up, and that's going to be my
The
main,
computer you use.
Yeah, and for my artwork too, I would like to get some form of higher version of Adobe Creative Suite on it. I can't talk Creative Suite. That's not CS2.
Yeah.
So
Breath of the Wild DLC Pack 1 is out. That's the one that has it's got the
Master Trials or
Master
whatever.
Trials that you can get to power up your sword, the Master Sword indefinitely. There's also the Korok Seed Mask, a bunch of new armor hidden across the world in different chests.
Motion tracker.
The Hero's Path
Hero's
that
Path,
shows you
yeah.
where you've been. There's been a lot of good memes out there of people being like, oh, this is weird, and they show the Hero's Path screen, but they really just drew a dick in the same color as the path. So that's been pretty entertaining on Twitter. But yeah, so you can't buy them separately. You can only buy them together for the $20. But the first part is out, with the second one coming.
It'd be
later.
interesting to see how accurate of a drawing of a penis you could make.
yeah,
like,
I'm
just
wondering
walking
if there's a
around.
Hero's Path like art community already.
It might be out there. It might be.
They
You have to
just
check
use walking
deviantart.com.
around.
Yeah.
But
It's just a subreddit of like penis drawings.
pretty much. What's the best penis you can draw on Heroes
Yeah.
Path?
Draw the largest.
How many
penis you
steps
can.
did it take?
It only shows the last 200 hours of movement.
Oh, that's all.
So
It doesn't
wonder,
take 200 hours to draw a dick, though. So I mean,
No, that's true. But I wonder
Depends
what
on how large it is.
I wonder what that limit puts on people if they want to try. And
I
want
want to see a dick that's drawn that like starts in the middle and works its way around the border of the map, and then like it's like Snake. It just like
okay.
runs into itself and
Yeah.
like corners, and then like makes a slow a
It's
swirl.
weird.
You should make that, John.
It'd just be funny.
But
That's
yeah.
a $200 penis. That's a good tagline. Let's add that one to the
This episode
list.
sucks.
And then the only other thing that I really wanted to talk about news-wise, unless you guys can think of any other things, Nintendo announced the Super Nintendo NES, the Super NES Classic Edition.
And it's gonna
Yeah.
have Star Fox 2 on it.
It's
Which has never been released.
It's $80. It's coming September 29th,
That seems a bit
2017.
steep to me.
There's it comes with two controllers that use the same little Wii adapter plug-in. It's not actually mini NES controller ports, although they are on the
I
thing.
think we should try and get our hands on one to use as a giveaway for our live stream.
we can certainly try, but I kind of don't really feel like putting that much effort into getting one of these things because
When
I'm
did
sure
they
it's
come
going to
out?
be dumb. So
If I
September
put that much
29th.
effort into getting it, I'm going to keep it.
So there's 21 classic games: Super Mario World, Super Mario Kart, Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, F-Zero, Super Metroid, Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Punch Out, Castlevania 4, Donkey Kong Country, Mega Man X, Kirby Superstar, Final Fantasy 3 or 6 in Japan, Kirby's Dream Course, Yoshi's Island, Super Mario RPG, Contra 3, Secret of Mana, Earthbound, and Super Ghouls and Ghosts, I believe. And then
It's
finally,
a lot of SquareSoft games on
Star
there.
Fox. Yeah, there's a lot of good. I mean, in terms of like, if you tried to buy these games on eBay, holy shit, you're spending a lot of money.
Yeah.
Mega Man X is insane. Final Fantasy 3 is pretty expensive. Super Mario RPG is insane.
Secret of
Earthbound
Mana.
itself is probably worth like 7 of these Super NES
Right.
classics, so that's insane. The only thing, Star Fox 1, obviously, and then Star Fox 2. Star Fox 2, which never saw release in the United States despite being completely localized. They canceled it because the N64 was coming out and they didn't want to cannibalize sales of the N64. So this is your first ability to play a legit copy. There's been a ROM out there for years.
And the dev team threw a release party.
Yeah, they did. They did. The ROM, nobody's completely certain if the ROM is like 100% finished.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if there's any differences between the released candidate and the actual
How was it received?
ROM. I think people were basically like, yeah, it's another another Star Fox game. Like it didn't. People weren't as wowed by it as they were by Star Fox 1, but it'll still be interesting to the fact that this is like the initial. This is like a great idea for them.
Yeah.
Like if they could put out some N64 shit on the N64 classic that never came out, that's a really cool idea. Like that makes me really want one of these, whereas I only kind of really wanted one of the mini NESs.
Right.
I never got one.
Because it's offering
but
you something that you couldn't have.
You think they'll go and have a mini Wii where the Wiimotes are like smaller than my thumb or something?
I already have a mini Wii.
I don't think they'll ever get to that point. Not yet, anyway.
It's just a thumb. It's a thumb drive.
I would still be pretty like. It would be cool for them to make like a Game Boy Classic or like a Game Boy Pocket Classic that has a bunch of stuff on it. It's got a rechargeable battery in it, that kind of thing.
If they just took the Game Boy Advance SP and made that into one, because the SP it could just be a cartridge that fits in the SP. That the SP is to this day the best iteration of Game Boy. Period.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
It was flawless.
I don't
beautifully
remember
made.
which one that is.
It was the small clamshell Game Boy that had it was
actually
the Game Boy
pocket size.
The Game Boy Advance SP. Yeah, I mean it was literally the size of like your back pocket, a little bit smaller, and it had a battery that was like 40 hours long.
I managed to plug mine in probably once every couple of years, but even before I plug it in, I still can turn it on. So it's
there's always
ridiculous
battery left on it. I have like 400 to 500 hours logged in Final Fantasy Tactics.
Is that one color?
Yeah.
Yep. Color and it had a
backlit.
front. I think that one was only front lit until later models had a backlight.
Oh, right on.
The backlight probably kills the battery though.
It doesn't
It's
though.
not too bad.
The battery lasts forever. I got through
You
a
can
lot
also-
of college courses playing a Final Fantasy Tactics Advance.
I don't know how.
You can also turn the light on and off with a button that's
Oh,
on the thing,
cool.
so that's pretty nice. But
Sounds ahead of its time.
anyway, the Super Nintendo Classic looks cool.
Yeah.
Don't know if I'll get one. It looks I'd like to have one, but I'm really not willing to wait in any lines to get a Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
So basically, somebody will get one, pull the Star Fox ROM off of it, compare the two, and then we'll be good.
Right. You'll read about it and you'll be done.
Yep.
You'll watch other people play it and Awesome Games Done Quick and you'll
Exactly.
be all set.
Exactly. Well, speaking of Summer Games Done Quick, I think starts today.
Nice.
There was a lot of prep going on last week. Somebody actually beat the Symphony of the Night run, as I posted about on our social media. They beat the game. They beat all bosses in the game in 31 minutes and 52 seconds.
That's insane.
Yeah. So
That's basically like with no leveling at all.
yeah, so like there's not enough time to actually gain any good stats in that with that
That's
short
so
of a run.
crazy.
But there's more craziness like that coming this week. I'm sure there's going to be some awesome things that come out of Summer Games Done Quick. So take a look. I'm sure it's all over Twitch. It'll be one of the top things that pops up when you go to twitch.com. So
Yep.
check out Summer Games Done Quick.
The Castlevania TV show will be airing before our next episode.
Yeah, it'll be out
Starts next
Friday
Friday.
the 7th. I hear it's 4 30-minute episodes.
Oh,
That's
that's
it?
it?
Yeah.
That's a
That's
little
what I
disappointing.
I don't know if that's
It's like a mini
totally
series.
sure. Yeah. And that's the thing. This is season 1, and then apparently season 2 will come out next year. It's another 4 episodes at 30 minutes. So
What is this, like a British show?
No, it's just an anime that they cut up into episodes is what it is.
Yeah,
At
pretty
least
much.
Sherlock, the episodes are an hour and a half apiece. Jeez.
So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we'll record a Film Nerds or something if we
Yeah.
all sit down and watch it next week. That would
I
be-
plan on watching it because
Yeah,
I love
especially if it's
Castlevania.
that show, I'll watch it real
Yeah.
quick.
Plus
Yeah.
the cast was released.
Yeah, Graham McTavish from many things, but also Preacher. The Scene of Killers on Preacher. He voices Dracula.
G2T.com.
Yep, GTTpodcast.com. We're back in full swing. First episode came out last week. First and second episode came out last week, essentially.
Yep.
Got another one coming out this Tuesday. But and then also Richard Armitage, who is awesome and has a great voice, is playing Trevor Belmont. I think they revealed that the show is kind of loosely based on Castlevania 3, I think.
Yeah.
Is what they said.
Is that a good thing?
It's okay.
I mean, all of the early Castlevanias are the best ones, I think. I mean, at least like 3, 4, 5, like Castlevania X or whatever.
yeah, Dracula X.
Yeah, and then Symphony of the Night are like that's like the canon that I am just obsessed
The
with.
Super Nintendo to PlayStation era Castlevanias
It's just
are
so good.
The best of the bunch. But no, I'm excited to watch some of that. So yeah, that's all I got
Right
for
on.
news.
Cool. You want me to talk about Arizona Sunshine?
Yeah. So
Arizona Sunshine came out on Friday.
yeah, so this is a game that was out for PC for a while, but they made it into VR for PlayStation.
Yeah, it's a
VR.
PSVR game, zombie style.
So it wasn't already a VR game?
I don't think so. I'll double check that.
I think it
I'm
was
pretty sure
for
it was.
Rift and Vive. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
I
it's
was
I
There's
think
Air-
that's the whole point of the game. Is the fact that
it's zombie
VR.
apocalypse VR simulator sort of game. They did. For PlayStation VR, they added aim support,
Oh,
which is
yeah, it
cool.
was
So we
Oculus.
have aim support. You can use the Move controllers as well. I've only played it with the aim controller at this point because I like being able to use the joysticks to move around. I'm not a fan of teleportation movement. That kind of bothers me. Although in reading some of the people on Reddit, their responses to it is they like the teleportation movement because it can get them out of a sticky situation if they get overwhelmed.
Makes sense.
Which can happen. I've only played a couple hours of it, and I did it while I was half asleep this morning because I forgot to download it last night. And the dogs got me up super
It's a
early.
glowing review so
No,
far.
well, so okay, it plays really well. It's very smooth. I did get sick playing it though because I'm not sure exactly why, but I like playing
it's
with
probably
smooth.
just that it was morning and you're half asleep.
It could be, yeah. I ate a lot of food yesterday too, so
that
like,
probably didn't help.
yeah. But anyways, I was able to get 3 of the different guns that you can get. So you start with a I'm not sure what kind of rifle it is, but like a single shot rifle essentially, iron sights, no scope or anything on it. And it works really well. It works a lot like Farpoint. You can aim down the sights. You do have to hold the gun up like pretty accurately to your face to do it, and one eye squint down the barrel to make sure you're on sight. And the accuracy is pretty good. I played it in a fairly well lit room too, which didn't seem to hinder the performance of the VR at this point. So I think they've definitely patched in better performance with the tracking.
That's good.
It looks pretty good. Surprisingly, it doesn't look as good as Farpoint. I think Farpoint's a much better looking game. At least the textures are better looking. The zombies are all fairly boring and repetitive in
Yeah.
terms of their aesthetic. The water effect
Are there
looks
different
really nice.
types of zombies? Like
There's slower moving ones and then there's like charging ones. That's all I've really run into. And what's kind of cool is they've incorporated some zombies roll in wearing like football pads and things so you can't body shot them. Or like I had a charging one come at me that was wearing like a ballistics helmet so I couldn't headshot
I
it.
stole that Plants vs. Zombie.
Dead Rising had that too.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool that you have to think about it too. And luckily, like they kind of give you a little bit of a heads up to figure out how you want to approach it. I haven't been swarmed to the point where I couldn't think quick enough. But there's a little bit of a narrative. Your character wakes up in like a little cave and a zombie's head rolls in and the zombie's name's Frank or something like. He's like, oh, I better put Frank out of his misery. So he goes and you pick up your gun and you shoot Frank's head and kill him. And then you find Frank's body. And the reason his head rolled into your cave is because it got taken out by a bear trap. So, kind of cool there. But yeah, it's a little bit of a narrative. From what I was reading, it's about 5 hours long. And everybody online saying that on the PlayStation Pro, it really shines as like a graphical improvement, which I would love to play it on the Pro. Don't have one yet. Maybe I'll go buy one later. I don't know. But it looks and plays really well so far. I haven't played the Horde mode. I would like to play Horde mode, which is co-op and sounds like a lot of fun.
There's also co-op campaign too.
Yeah, and I do want to go back and try and play it with the Move controllers too, because you essentially the game plays differently either like with the Move controllers or the aim controller. You either play with rifles using the aim controller, or you play dual wielding pistols with the Move controllers, which is kind of cool, or single pistol and movement. So I'd like to try both ways and kind of get a hang of that. I don't know, like Farpoint didn't make me sick at all. I don't know what it was about Farpoint.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with that game.
It was-
either,
it,
and
like-
I don't have VR legs.
Yeah, for some reason, and like it could have been because it was early and my stomach's still full of food or whatever from yesterday. But I could only play I can only
Food
play
hangover.
for very short periods. I literally was getting to the point where I was getting like the hot sweat. I was getting sweaty, like from
maybe
like,
it was all the light that was in the room and the fact that it's 1 billion degrees up there.
no, it's downstairs. I moved
Oh,
everything to the
okay.
living room.
Maybe it's a visual thing, like, because supposedly the humans don't get sick part of VR is 90 frames or higher, and maybe it can't hit that on the normal.
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, it also could be because Farpoint was it had a fairly cool color palette to it.
Yeah.
This is a very warm color palette, like lots of oranges and yellows and things like that. I don't know if that actually has an effect, but I would assume so
Yeah.
to some extent. But it's fun. I want to play it some more. I definitely think my VR setup upstairs is a better setup for me in terms of just positioning and everything. I had to move everything downstairs, so I had to reposition the camera and get it all set up just so I could play in a cool environment. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I literally, like, it got to the point where I was sweating and I was like, I think I'm going to puke and I need to like take this off. And I sat down, and like when I took the helmet off and went to sit down, like I was like I could feel my equilibrium was jacked. Like it was really weird because I hadn't felt that since I first put on the VR goggles, like
Yeah.
when I was playing Eve when it first came out. But overall, I mean, it's a lot of fun. It has cool little music cues and things that pop in. The dialogue, the voiceover is decent quality, and I definitely want to play more. Because I mean, these rail shooters like this, like that's what I want out of VR. Like these are the games I want. Like playing first-person shooters in VR is a great experience. Even going back to the London Heist experience,
Yeah.
that's one of the best experiences on VR. Being able to actually physically duck behind objects and things to like avoid gunfire is really cool.
I just like loading clips into guns.
Yeah, loading clips into your guns is cool. Being able to just like hang your arm over the side of the desk and shoot and
Yeah.
It's awesome. Like I want to play multiplayer games like that. Like I
I'm-
want to play a first-person shooter competitively, like in that sort of situation where you do actually have to physically move yourself behind things and like you can duck down and pop yourself up using your own body. Like
Yeah.
it's just a different experience to actually have your entire body built into it. So obviously in a zombie game you don't need that. There's zombies coming at you with their arms out. They're not shooting at you. But it can be a little startling when they get too close to you and start attacking you.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of the disembodied hands thing. That kind of weirds me out, but those are present in Arizona. You don't have that in Farpoint. You actually have a full physical body that casts a shadow, which I think is great for immersion. So I would like to see them maybe update that into Arizona Sunshine. But overall, fun experience. For $35, it has like I said, about a 5-hour campaign, which is kind of like it seems that everyone is accepting a 5-hour campaign as the standard for VR. And so that being said, I can't really complain. If like the community feels
How
that
much
that's
did you
like
say it was?
it's $35
Oh,
right
that's
now.
fine.
It's $40 after the 5th. So
Yeah.
it's on sale right now.
The first week of release.
Yeah, so and you get a free PSN theme for your PlayStation. But yeah, I mean, $35 for 5 hours worth of play. It's VR and there's replayability through horde mode and co-op and everything like that. I'm okay with that. And it sounds
Yeah.
like they're gonna keep updating it with other things too, which will be cool. So it's fun. I can't highly recommend it necessarily because I haven't played enough to highly recommend it. But I think it's definitely worth picking up, especially if you have a VR.
Yeah.
So well, you need a VR to play it. So yeah. But
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions about it or no?
No,
No, I think I got it.
that was pretty in depth
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
for the 2 hours that you spent
Yeah.
playing it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
you said enough.
No, that's cool. I would like to play more because it's fun. I need to figure out how I was getting. It could have been because I was standing too,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would probably help.
which I don't know. But I mean, the teleportation controls aren't terrible because it's essentially you're using the front trigger on the aim controller to like point, and then you use the gun to like aim where you're going, and then release, and it just drops you there.
Yeah.
It's not terrible, but it's also like that. That to me ruins immersion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and it can. I mean, it's a little disorienting too. Just popping up in another spot, like it.
It
to
does
me,
have
it
a
messes with me a little bit.
Yeah, it does have a quick turn.
Okay.
Like if you need to, like if
If you
you're
teleport past and need to turn back to where you were, kind
you will
of thing.
if
So
you
like
so
a
I
180
I
button?
have it. Yeah, it's got a 180 button essentially. Like the
That'll
front
make you sick.
the
fast.
front
Just
joystick
keep hitting that
is,
over and over again.
yeah the front. Well, it doesn't actually spin you. It's a screen snap.
Oh.
So like the front joystick is your movement, and you strafe left, right, and then forward and backwards. But then the back joystick on the gun, you can look left and right with it to turn, or if you tap back, it flips you
Okay.
180. And that's been that's one of the things people have been complaining about, is that when they're trying to turn with the smooth controls, if you don't turn exactly left and right,
Then it'll
pop you backwards.
Interesting.
So kind
Interesting.
of an oversight, I think, on their part. I don't know how that's.
Hopefully they'll iron that out
it
in the
mostly
patch.
sounds like you need to just be turning with your actual body rather than, because that way you don't need the right stick.
Yeah, I mean that.
But also, it's not like you can turn all the way around, because then the eye
Well,
won't see
if-
the PlayStation aim or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm so used to playing first-person shooters
Yeah.
where I'm using that ability, like if I could just turn off the 180 button, I'm fine with that. And
Yeah.
and if I could increase the turn speed, because I play all of my games that have a movable camera like that with the turn speed jacked.
Yeah.
So I'm used to it being quick. Even when I was playing Farpoint, I had the turn speed all the way up.
Yeah.
Because I don't like feeling like I have to push the joystick harder to turn faster. Like I just want to be able to move quickly right off the bat. So
Yeah.
sensitivity is always maxed out. But yeah, it's fun. It has its little quirks, but I think down the line, like when they throw in a couple of patches to clean up some of the controls or whatever, it'll be really, really good. But
Yeah.
I want to go back and play with the Move controllers for sure.
Cool.
So anyways,
Mhm.
you played ARMS.
I did. So a lot of the preliminary thoughts you can go listen to on our review of the Global Test Punch from a couple weeks back. But the game's finally out, or it's out as of the 16th, the same week as E3, and so there's not a whole lot that's different in this final release, except that you've got access to all the different modes and everything.
Loot boxes.
No loot boxes. Yeah, there's loot boxes now.
They'll add them eventually.
Yeah.
Everyone's obsessed with loot boxes now.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
They're putting loot boxes in Tetris.
No, they're not.
I know, I made that up.
you can change the outfits that
Yeah.
your Tetrominoes are
Yep.
in.
Get different blocks.
Yep.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, kind of the story with this game. You can hear how cocky I was on the Global Test Punch, and then I went and played. I bought the game and I sat in a cool down. And I was like, we're gonna play some ARMS. So I was like, do you want to use the motion controls or do you want to use the controller?
And then
And
she
she's
kicked
like,
your ass.
I'll use the motion controls. I was like, okay. And then I picked up the controller and we played a few games and she beat me like 3 or 4 times.
That's been the thing, is people are saying the motion controls are the way to go.
Yeah, so basically I was like, all right, I'm only going to play this with motion controls now. So it's kind of fun because I'll stand up like I would with like Farpoint when I was trying to play it with PSVR. I'll
Yeah.
just stand up in front of the TV and play. And I was like, well, I beat a bunch of people when I was playing the Test Punch, so I'm just going to, I'm going to try the Grand Prix, which is the 10 fights.
Yeah.
And like the story mode essentially, and it's got difficulty from 1 to 10. And I was like, I'm just gonna, I could probably do 5, but I'll just put it on a 3. I got my ass handed to me in the first round. Like I could not beat
Well, and you
the
picked
computer.
it up. You picked it up a little late too.
Well, no, this isn't even online. This is the story mode.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I should be fine. No. So then I talked to Tim. Tim was like, yeah, I've been playing it, but, I started out doing the Grand Prix, and I started at level 1, and I've been working my way up because I usually like to go through and do the whole thing. So I was like, okay, well, then I'll do that. And so I played through the first level as Helix, and there's still a few battles where, it did not. Most of them I managed to get the 2 rounds just fine, but there were a few where it came down to the 3rd round.
Yeah.
And so it certainly has that difficulty to it. And the other thing was that I was trying to play. So my 2 main guys that I kind of gravitate towards, you've got Helix, who's like the DNA guy, and his main. Everybody has like their standard arms that they start with.
Yeah, then you
are
get
kind
2
of like
other
their characteristic ones.
swappable.
So Helix has these ones that are like they're like large round gloves that kind of bounce. Like you'll basically fire it off and it'll bounce in the direction until it hits the person.
Okay.
So it's a little bit slower, but it hits harder. And so getting used to that, I was able to kind of really, beat the crap out of some of the computer players I was doing. But playing as Ninjara, he's got these chakra gloves that essentially fire off like a circle, and it kind of arcs around the person that you're like actually firing it at. So
Yeah.
if you punch to the right or to with your right arm to the left, it'll kind of curve from the left side of the person over towards their center
And you
mass.
can use the motion controls to do
you
that.
can adjust and
mid-flight too,
twist a
right?
bit, yeah. So and it's really hard for me to time out. Like I was doing okay with him with the controller on the test punch, but
Yeah.
I was doing a lot. It was harder for me. Like I haven't been able to get past the first couple fights with him in the Grand Prix.
Right.
So really like going down and checking out different characters and things like that, I'm starting to see a lot of the depth, because even like the other things that you can do in the game, like in terms of maneuverability of like being able to guard, and then also you can dash and jump, and you can combine those in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Ninjara, like, well, if you jump and then dash with him, then he disappears for a second, and you can kind of move him around that way. So, and then Helix also kind of like, Helix does this weird thing where his legs kind of stay put, but if you jump, he'll like move over to an area and then his legs follow behind him.
Okay.
So like learning the intricacies of how these people move around and the maneuverability that you need to have in order to try and get away from some of the punches that are coming at you. It has a lot of depth. Like I can see how some esports high level play of this would be really entertaining, just seeing how people manage to move these guys around.
Yeah.
Because it's I think there's a lot to it. But yeah, the Grand Prix is cool because it's not just straight up fights. They'll throw in like the volleyball or the basketball and things like that in the mix, so that you have other things that you're doing. There's also the target practice one where there's just the two people on other sides of a bunch of targets, and the more targets you hit, the more points you get. More points you get, you win.
Cool.
So kind of doing all those different things. Like it's not a normal story mode, which is fun, but you do get little wraparounds in between each round that talk a little bit about the characters in it.
Right.
So it's been fun, but I haven't gotten to play a ton of it. I want to play some more. It sounds like there's DLC coming in January. It's a free content drop. You'll get to play as the boss character. I think his name is Max Brass, and he's this like pretty powerful buff dude with these big brass gloves. He's a huge dude, and
With big brass balls.
Yeah, and so he'll be and a whole nother character for people to play as,
That's
which
cool.
is awesome. I assume they'll probably add another one or two in the time that they're going to be supporting this game.
Yeah.
But to see more stages and maybe even more modes come, I think
You
that's
haven't
gonna
played
be-
any online competitive, have you?
No, I haven't.
Did you and Tim get to play together?
No, not yet.
I'm sure
So-
getting beat by the level 3 computer scared you.
Yeah,
away
that
from
was
online
enough
play.
for me to be like, well, I'm probably just
Yeah,
screwed
there's a
here.
lot
And
of
Nicole beating you.
Yeah.
there's a lot of talk about how they're trying to figure out what's the phrasing? They're trying to figure out how to deal with customized characters for competitive play, because in the game you can unlock like souped up versions of the original gloves, but you can also unlock all the other different gloves. And so they're like, okay, when we play competitively, do we lock people into only using the base characters with the base gloves, or do we allow additional glove setups, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
that's interesting, because I think the ranked mode, like they do have there is like online party mode where it
Yeah.
mixes and matches people like the test punch did, but then there's also ranked mode, and I don't think it locks anything out. I think it still allows you to pick and choose whatever
that's
you
the thing.
want,
It doesn't lock anything out, but that's like you have people who are grinding like crazy to get all
to get all the unlock all
to
the
get like
arms.
the plus versions of the regular arms, which do more damage and things like that, or maybe they move faster or something like that.
Yeah.
But they're grinding like crazy to unlock all of these more powerful abilities and things, and then using them in competitive play, which gives them an advantage.
Yeah.
So. I personally think everyone should be able to, like, you should start at square one in competitive play. You should be able, if you're a truly good skilled character, you should be able to play with anybody with any arms. It doesn't matter. Like, if you truly have the ability to do it, you shouldn't need any souped up versions.
Yeah,
So-
and I like maybe
And
that's
even,
the thing. Like
even
I could
the playing
see.
field, like,
I could see at Evo them being basically just like you have access to all of the standard arms for everybody, but you cannot use like,
right.
the
I mean,
souped-up
it's not
ones.
like you get souped up move sets in like Street Fighter tournaments or like Tekken tournaments or whatever. You know
Or
what
I mean, like that Injustice game recently.
Yeah, with the
has
gear.
All
all the ranked play doesn't allow you any gear. So that
just
Yeah.
seems to make sense.
It's like playing Crucible and Destiny, where
Yeah.
it takes away level advantage unless you go
Yeah,
to like
yeah.
the Trials of Osiris, where it's specifically like level
Or Iron
advantage is
Banner,
there,
yeah.
or Iron Banner, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think any way to even the playing field is totally cool. I would like to pick this up still, I think, but I don't know if I'm willing to spend $60 on it.
Yeah, well, here's the thing: is it's a Nintendo first-party game, which those tend to hold their value for the rest of time.
I know that's the sad part.
Basically, what it comes down to is you can wait for one of the a lot of the times there would be deals at Target during the Wii U days, at least of here's a buy two get one Nintendo stuff. So you can maybe pick it up then, or team up with Brian. You guys can get a couple copies of ARMS for $20 a piece or something like that.
Right.
But,
there's Gamers Club Unlocked. Still get your 20% off.
Yeah, that's
true.
Or Prime.
Or Prime. Yep.
But
I don't know if I have to be very choosy with the games that I'm playing right now and buying because I just don't have the money for it necessarily.
Yeah,
is ARMS not quite reaching out and grabbing you?
It's not quite.
You're wrestling with whether or not you want to buy ARMS.
Yeah.
Sorry, we needed some ARM
puns
before the episode is over.
Yeah, I think Tim's going to be disappointed.
I know,
probably
there's
wanted
just
more.
not enough.
But no, ARMS is good. I'm interested to play a little bit more of it. I'm interested to see what other support they provide.
Yeah, gotta hand it to Nintendo.
Yeah, they got their foot in the door.
Wait, no, that's for the sequel legs. Remember?
Yeah, but no, it's good. It's cool.
Do you think it's worth $60?
I would say right now this package that they have, it's not quite at the $60 level, but knowing how well they supported Splatoon, I think it'll be worth picking up.
$60 isn't exactly an arm and a leg.
No, it's 2 arms.
Oh my god!
But I mean, if you enjoyed the test punch and you want more of that, and you're gonna sit there and learn the intricacies of all these characters, as somebody who's podcasting, I don't know that I'm gonna go through and
really play
everybody. You know,
extent.
I don't know if I'm gonna get that much out of it. But if that sounds compelling to you and you want to do that, I think there's more than enough game here to be worth $59.99. But absolutely, you should be using Gamers Club Unlocked or Amazon Prime.
I mean, everyone should be using those anyways to buy games because I mean, if it's there, why not?
Yep.
So didn't they lowered the price on Gamers Club Unlocked, didn't they?
I think it's $30, like it always has been. I will say this game is making me want to pick up another pair of Joy-Con.
Yeah, so you can play with another person.
It is making me want to do it so that we can have
go get those neon
two
yellow
people.
ones.
I thought about it. Although I don't know. Part of me wants to pick up the gray set. Part of me wants just the solid blue set.
Yeah,
but
I like the blue set.
I think if I got another set, I'd have to get a solid set.
Yeah.
It would have to be either the blue ones, the red ones, or the yellow. I couldn't do a mixed set of them. But I also want them to release more colors.
Really, what they should do, I don't think they do this, but they should be selling a reverse of the neon.
What you have? Yeah,
so that I can have two solid sets or 2 mismatches. That would be nice, but.
You can either buy them individually or
but it costs
it
more.
costs $10 more to buy them individually.
Stupid.
Than just
Was it
buying
like
the
$50 for one?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, forget that.
Yeah, so ARMS is good.
Right on.
Check it out if you need something to play on your Switch before Splatoon comes out this month.
Yeah, there are a couple other games that came out on Switch, but nothing really to write home about.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
So yeah. If anybody has any suggestions as to games they want us to cover while we're in this summer drought here, please do let us know. If you want to follow us on social media or see all the other places you can listen to or watch our show, check out MidwestGameNerds.com/links. And as always, we do appreciate your feedback at MidwestGameNerds@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow us on Twitch and rate and review us on the favorite podcasters that you use to listen to us. We really appreciate it. If you use those things, we go up in the charts. Our downloads this month were
phenomenal.
Awesome. We had 1,800 unique downloads this month.
Yeah.
1,800. Damn. And a lot of them were out of Japan.
Thanks to that one person that has 1,800 computers that downloaded all.
It's the country of
mobile
Japan.
Devices.
We appreciate our Japanese listeners.
If we were releasing weekly, we'd be like double as popular as what Film Nerds ever did in its most popular month. So
that's another thing great. I wanted to talk about. I don't know if did I write that all up in here? Let me where is it? This is a really
I'll throw in here. Gone to Texas has started. Preacher season 2 is going. The first 2 episodes were pretty bombastic. Nick and I are excited to see where the rest of the season goes. So if you're not watching Preacher, you should be. Season 1, I think, is on Hulu or Netflix, one of those things. So you can check it out and listen to us and catch up so that we can talk about season 2 with you. So come join us. It's a great show, both the podcast and the television show.
And Tim from Horror Movie Yearbook was supposed to be here today to talk about ARMS, but he couldn't make it. So be sure to check out Horror Movie Yearbook. Again, this is all available on MidwestPodcastNetwork.com. You can check out all of our partner podcasts.
Yeah. The Horror Movie Yearbook, guys, if you were a fan of the Midwest Film Nerds and an even bigger fan of Fight the Franchise, they just did a Fight the Franchise for this week's episode. It's the Phantasm series.
Yeah, so definitely check that out.
Go check that out. Glad that they've been able to pull that feature over because we always had a good time with those. Yeah,
so essentially we kind of wanted to start a new segment, I think, for our off weeks, and I just want to do a little introduction to it. As most of you guys know, we do record and upload a new episode every other week, so we want to satisfy your video game podcast needs. The time every other week gives us time to come up with new episodes and actually scrounge the internet for news and play the games that we need to play.
Afford the games that we want to buy.
Right, exactly. So that
up in the air.
Yeah, that format's great and all, but it kind of leaves everybody listening with a whole extra week of waiting to hear our beautiful voices again.
Know.
So
and it must be tough to wait that long.
We want to put this new segment together, and I'm tentatively titling it 15 Minutes of Game, as 15 minutes of fame, but game instead. Essentially, 15 Minutes of Game is going to be a dialogue about a single video game or even a series of games that our friends, family, and you, our listeners, really want to talk about. I want to use as a means to create more of a dialogue with everyone about games that they like, why they like them, how the games affected their lives, that sort of thing. So I want you, the listeners, and anybody you think would be interested in this, I want you to really think about it. What games have you played that left a lasting impact on you? And if you can come up with one that you feel you can really talk about for 15 minutes, let us know. Email us at midwestgamenerds@gmail.com and tell us you want your 15 minutes a game. And we'll set up a time. We'll schedule with you via Skype or in person if you're in the area and you want to record. We'll figure out a way to get that to happen. But essentially, if you can go super old school with it and get nostalgic and do old games that really hit you. For me, I post on the Instagram account about Moon Patrol being the first game that I remember playing as a 3-year-old child with an Atari 2600. Even if it's a game that we just talked about on a recent episode, but it's one that you feel you've got 15 minutes worth of talking about, you want to tell us about, let us know. And for the time being, I'm hoping to get some of the previous guest hosts that we've had on the podcast to come and chat with us. So Corey and Jason, Tim and Willie and Nick and Gojo especially, I'm sure have Webby even. But I mean, I'm sure Gojo has ridiculous stories, and it's going to be more like an hour of game for him as opposed to 15 minutes.
It has to be 15 minutes.
We got to get the. That was another segment we were going to do called Tales of Gojo back in the day. So.
But we want to keep them short episodes that get you guys kind of talking and thinking about other games that maybe you should go back and play if you haven't already, and just another way to engage with you. So please do let us know. Email us. You can get a hold of us on all of our social media accounts as well.
We should talk to Nico too about what kind of informs his game design and that kind of thing. I'd like to hear what he has to say.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I want it to be a more informative series of episodes and hopefully be able to do them in the off weeks so that we have other content that you guys can download and listen to. And
we'll try to bank up a bunch of them so that we can kind of get a steady flow going, and then we can record them as needed. So
and I talked to the replay guys too. I told them I've got something up my sleeve that I want to throw their way eventually. So it'd be cool to get them on to Skype with them and figure it out.
Sure.
So,
we are welcoming participation with arms wide open. That's all I have to say.
That's the last one. All right, you're done. We're done with this episode's over. Again, thanks everybody for listening. If you catch this on Twitch at some point or on YouTube, we appreciate the viewership.
Yep.
So be sure to check back in 2 weeks now for our next episode, which we will announce via social media as to what we're covering. So again, thanks for listening and watching, and we'll see you next time. Peace.